No judgment. Mr. Trey Dawson.
What is up, JD?
What are you doing? Where are you at right now?
Salad bar.
I have a hard time believing that.
You probably should. You probably should.
Did you recover from Mark Twain?
Yeah, well, I didn't do much heavy lifting.
Oh.
I didn't do much heavy lifting. The cool thing was, I'll get into it here in a little bit, just kind of, man, catching them two fish that I did when I caught them, it was just something special about it. It was special for me. It was just a huge growing experience. And I think if you can take that away from the water, regardless of how you place, because honestly, man, if you look at people taking first, second, and third, we have a lot of guys that are always in the top 10, but to win consistently like first place, which I've never done, never even really came close. I think my best finish was 11th one time. But yeah, man, I think it's the little small successes that just over time make you better. And I feel like I had one of them at Mark Twain. So kind of excited to talk about it. And yeah, excited to get these guys on here. Been out mushroom hunting. I think it's done here in Missouri. Prayers out to Jared Fosno. You guys know he lives in Clinton. Clinton's just got kind of hit by a tornado. Fosno's cool. It kind of hit away from him. Got close to him. He's a little bit nervous. But just prayers out to the Fosno family and prayers out to Clinton in general, knowing that we'll be down there for the All-American here pretty quickly. Reports say that it had hit Walmart, a section of Walmart, and I believe it touched down at the high school. So it's pretty much all the news. That's live Doppler coverage coming from Trey Dawson. Didn't know I was a weatherman too, did you?
No, I did not, man. I didn't realize you had that qualification. But
yeah, I just gave a live update weather report. Hopefully, we do a little better with this podcast than we did the last one. I want to apologize to the guys. I have a lot of guys reaching out to me. Tyler Alexander was one, and he said it was by far the most funniest podcast he's ever seen. So if anything, if we're not providing good fishing content, at least we're giving you guys something to laugh about on your drive to wherever you're going. And that's our overall goal here.
Oh, man. Well, hopefully everybody can hear each other on this one. But
please tell me we have audio.
I can't hear Jonathan.
We got Tyler here. And we're gonna talk Mark Twain before Trey gets too loose. So, what's up, Richie? How are you, man?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good, man. How about you, Tyler? How are you, man? Oh, here we go again. Tyler, can you hear us? Richie, let's start off with you, man. Talk to us about Mark Twain. Tell us how you did it.
Oh, man, luck. I think I had more luck played into it than anything. I ran around that lake just looking for fish, looking to try to find fish. I think I caught one 12-inch fish all day long. And normally, I don't really try to fish too hard, in practice. But this time I wanted to find, because after running around, seeing the water clarity, I knew there's going to be a lot of people at just a couple different ramps. So I wanted to find something that was off the beaten path. Like everywhere I pre-fish, I didn't see one single person. And I know why, because the fish weren't biting. But, I tried to find something, but then I just decided and ended up fishing history. This is my third tournament on Mark Twain. This is the last fall. I didn't do very well. Had COVID, brought COVID to the house and gave it to people. But I got second place in a tournament there several years ago as well in the same spot I fished. So I kind of have history. So if I didn't find anything on lake, that was my go-to place, that I was going to go to. And I know the fishing was going to be tough. So one thing I like to do in the springtime when it's tough is throw crankbaits. A lot of people like to throw like warts and stuff like that with the tighter wobble, but I thought the water maybe was a little bit too cold for that. So I kind of went with a flat-sided crankbaits, more like the Fritz side and the bigger size ones. I know a lot of people don't like throwing those because when you're reeling it in, you can't really feel it a lot because there's not much wobble. I know some people just don't care to throw it, but I love throwing flat-sided crankbaits because when the fishing's tough, they love to eat it. But yeah, tournament morning, man, I cruised to my spot. Basically only a few other people were around us. I thought it was going to be a lot busier where I was at, but it wasn't. But, started fishing. I think I caught my first fish in a little pocket. It was a 16-incher. I was like, okay, there's a good start to the day. I didn't even catch anything the day before. So, but I was basically concentrating on 45-degree rocky bank, stuff like that. Anything too steep, I didn't fish. I kind of skipped around it. But my first fish came right off a corner of a tiny little pocket off these 45-degree rocky banks. So I thought I had something going there, and then took me about another hour before I even got another bite. And the other bite wasn't in the creek; it was in the back of a little pocket. So I was like, okay, this might be a little pattern. I'll find just tiny little pockets off the main and just start fishing those. But then it went a couple hours, no bites. So I kind of made a move. Not a very far move, about a half a mile. And then I started working my way back to where I was. And I caught 2 16-inchers within like 15 minutes of each other. And I seen Trey about 10 minutes after I caught him. And he was like, oh man, I don't have anything. He's like, man, this is what I'm catching them on if you have one, So I'll just be nice, I don't care. I don't care sharing, even when I'm on the water with people, when I'm catching them on, it doesn't matter.
And I put one in my hand for about 10 minutes after that. About 10 minutes. I dedicated 10 minutes to it.
You had to give it all day long. So, but at that point, I think it was like 10:30, and I had a limit. But I had one 12-incher. And so it was about lunchtime. So I cruised on the back of the creek, all the way to the very back where the creek. And I just kind of tied up to a tree and had some lunch. But when I was eating lunch, I noticed I looked up and there's 4 cranes sitting in the back of this creek. And one of them just hightailed it right into the middle and just started smashing the water trying to get bait. One of them got a decent sized shad. I was like, So, because I did, even in practice and all day, I didn't see any shad busting until the sun got up at the end of the day, and those shad were moving back. And I know those fish kind of were shallow, I believe, and they kind of moved out because they were dropping the water a little bit. But I think at the end of the day, they started where I was at. They started moving up, and like right after I ate my first cast in I think it's like a foot and a half of water, I caught my biggest fish of the day, the 17-incher. And then I thought it was going to be on after that. So I stayed in the back of the creeks and ran the backs of everything. And that was it. Couldn't get anything else to bite. But, only caught 6 fish all day, including the trash fish. Well, I actually caught 8 fish all day, 6 bass, I hooked into that carp, and I caught a walleye. So that was kind of cool. I never caught a walleye in Mark Twain before. So, but yeah, I fished hard all day. I used that one bait all day long. I probably should have kind of adjusted a little bit, maybe slow down, throw a shaky head jig or something. But that Fritz side this time of year is my confidence bait, so I stuck with it all day. And that's it.
Nice.
I seen like the weights the inches were so low. I was just waiting for someone to take me over. I know. Tyler's like, oh man, I'm sorry I didn't have service all day. It's like, yeah, that's just the way it is. There's that lake, like where I was at. There's only certain parts you have service. So I've been there before, so I know when I can put fish up or not. But yeah, I never always dread going to Mark Twain, but I guess after a second place finish, he can put it back on the schedule next year. So,
and you're fishing the Tanny 20, is that right, Rich? You're in the Tanny 19 now. It's going to be the Tanny 19. We believe Jared Fosno's not going to be able to make it, but You're fishing that?
I think I'm going to fish. I got to decide really quick, but I know like those lakes are so far from me. It's like 4-hour drives. So,
Well, if you do, we want you to throw a crankbait all day long down there. If you can do that, just put that frit side on. Make it like a frit 9 or something, and just drag the bottom with that frit side.
no, I got a few glide baits ready to go for that one. So,
Nice.
but
You know, Richie, you, Troy, and I and Zach, we all stayed together, and you know, Zach showed up there Friday night, and all of us were scratching our heads. I mean, what do you think changed from Friday to Saturday as far as the fishing?
you know, yeah, that was like the craziest thing. Nobody caught any fish. I know Troy maybe had one bite in 2 days. Same with you or whatever. But it's like, I don't know if it's where we were fish because I spent 30 minutes fishing right by the ramp where I launched that tournament day, and I caught one fish. So the rest of the day I spent fishing the muddy water in different spots, and maybe it was just going to a different area. Maybe I don't know, or maybe I think, or we were. I guess the water or the weather was kind of for a few days. It kind of started getting steady. Maybe the kind of fish started getting used to it by then. So, but I don't know anything.
And I caught a limit in practice. I caught a limit the day before from 2 different places. I caught two one place and 3 in the other place, and like I said, I only caught 2 tournament days. So it was a little bit reversed for me. But
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about hearing Tyler's day and how he did it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
All right, I jumped out and came back in because I couldn't hear everybody. But I guess I'll go through my day. Got down there Thursday morning or Wednesday night late, and then truck camped at the ramp, and never been to the lake before, so I had no idea where to go, what to do. I knew the water was muddy. Honestly, I just looked at the map and picked a ramp and said, I'm going to start here and see where it goes. Got on the water pretty early. When I was getting on the water, I could see some fish busting out, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's something back here because there's some activity. Water was muddy, so my key was just to go with vibration baits. Throw something with vibration and start with there and try to cover some water and see what happens. And I think within the first hour, I think I had 3 fish, and like a 14, a 16, and a 14.75. So I felt pretty good about that. And then fished around for the next couple hours, caught a few more fish, and then went searching, covering water all over, throwing different baits. Maybe caught one here, one there, but I mean, wasn't a lot to it. Late in the day, I kind of worked my way back to where I was catching them earlier and caught another one, and then just kind of left it and got off the water about 3:30. Ended up catching like 9 fish in practice, scattered throughout the lake and areas that I fished. And then the rain came through Thursday night, and I was going to go look somewhere else, and just decided to go back there and see what the water clarity changed to, or how things changed with the temperature change and the going from sunny to cloudy, and just see what happened. And didn't even fish that area to start the day. I just kind of went searching and found some stuff that was similar, but nothing was biting on it. I mean, it looked exactly the same as where I was catching them, and nothing was there. And about 2.5 hours, I went back to the ramp because I was cold, got some more clothes on, and then went and checked the spot that I was catching them in practice. And within 10 minutes, I caught like a 17, and then I just packed up and left for the day. Got off the water about 11:30 on Friday. And main thing I was focusing on was flooded brush and the shrubs up on the bank. I mean, they were just sitting up in there. I mean, from probably 4 to 6 foot of water was kind of what I was keying on. And they were, I heard you saying, about 45-degree banks. I mean, I caught 1 or 2 in practice, but my stuff was all pretty flat. And then kind of dropped off behind where my kayak was positioned. So I knew there was deep water nearby. I think they were just kind of pulling up on there in those bushes and just kind of rotating through. Tournament morning, started in a spot where I caught a couple. In the first 30 minutes, I caught that 18 and a half, and I knew that was the kicker I needed because the rumor was everybody bite was tough, nothing was going on, and it was just rough. And I knew that was a very good start to the day. 45 minutes or so later, I got another bite, and it came off when I was reeling into the boat. I had no idea the size. I mean, I knew it was decent. It wasn't a 10-incher. I mean, it was decent sized. And then, I don't know, half hour or so after that, I got an 18 and a quarter. So first 2 hours of the day, I got two 18s, and all that was going through my mind then is just all I got to do is get a limit and I can probably cash a check. And just continued running the area that I was going, just making a big circle around it. And I think about 10:30 is when I got my fifth fish, about the first pass through that area. And then ended up upgrading shortly after that. That's probably, I don't know, 11:30. I think I had like 78 inches. So I felt pretty good about that. And just, I think I made 2 or 3 more passes around that, just running a circle through that area, and caught, I think, 8 fish and lost the one throughout the whole day. Caught another upgrade, like an 1 and a quarter upgrade with about an hour to go. And then that was it. Just 8 bites and lost the one. And like Richie was saying earlier, I was trying to submit fish and my phone battery kept draining because I tried to submit it and I'd set it down and it just kept spinning. And I don't know the lake. I'd never been there before. So, I mean, every time I go to these Missouri lakes, I always have issues with my phone signal, and I didn't know where to submit fish at, and I didn't want to waste any time doing that. So I was moving spots halfway through the day and found something where it submitted one of my fish, but it took quite a while to do it, and I didn't want to mess with that. So I just kept fishing, and then at the end of the day, I just kept going in circles, hold my phone up in the air, submitting my fish, and finally got them to go at lines out. But I mean, I didn't think I was on winning fish over there. I thought I was on something good enough to cash a check, but I mean, it worked out in my favor. I just got the right bites where I was at.
And Tyler, is this is your first win with MOYAK? First place finish?
The state championship last year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But for the actual series event, yeah. I mean, I haven't fished a ton of I don't know. I mean, I fished the Ozarks quite a few times between the Winter Series, the Elite, and Big Bass 250. But cashed a couple checks last year, and then the state championship win, and then in the Elite Series. This is my first win in the Elite Series.
And I heard some pretty cool news, maybe some family news about the All-American coming up. Something you're super excited about. Do you want to share that? Like, I think you got a duo. We're gonna have the the Tyler duo coming. So double threat. Can you talk about that and what that means to you?
You know, that's pretty cool. Me and my daughter, she's 19 now. We've been fishing ever since she was a little kid, you know, just beating the banks and walking around. And I had a couple kayaks, and finally last year I got her out in the kayak, and I mean, she picked it up like nothing. I mean, it was really easy for her. And we drove down last summer to Auburn to visit Marty, and she fished in the youth state championship. She just barely made it in on the age cutoff and didn't catch a limit. It was a really tough day. Thunderstorm came through and just nasty weather, but she had a blast. And then we ended up fishing Marty's Kayak Jack Outdoors Catch All You Can series in the fall. He runs like a 3-event series down here on some local lakes. So me and her did that, and I want to say first and second event she was 10th or 12th overall, and then the last event she ended up getting second place overall. Marty ended up getting first, which is not shocking on Catch All You Can stuff, but she got second place overall, and then me and her both qualified through that series. So me and her are going to be making the trip down to Truman here in a couple weeks. So it'll be a blast. It'll be exciting for her to see what like a lake actually looks like, because the stuff up here, I mean, they're just ponds compared to these Missouri lakes. This will be a whole new experience for her.
And we kind of hope she keeps you handcuffed the whole time, like just getting caught up in trees, getting,
Yeah.
Dad's having to re-spool the line. We just need her to come through and keep Dad a little occupied.
I mean, but that last event of Marty's series, she finished second, I finished third. So, I mean, there's a chance that me and her could both land on something and both do well, but you never know what's going to happen. I mean, kind of like this Mark Twain event, it's just being at the right place at the right time. I don't think what I caught him on at Twain was pattern related. I think it was area related. I mean, I found similar stuff, ran the same pattern and got nothing. I mean, it was just they were in this one spot and that was it. And if we can find something like that on Truman, I guess you never know what can happen. She knows how to catch them. She knows how to run the kayak. I mean, I picked up another motor from Jonathan there at Eco, so I got a motor on her Outback that she's going to be running. I got an Outback, so she's got an NK 180 on there, so we can both motor around and try to cover some water and see what happens.
That's awesome. That's what it's all about right there, man. So
Yeah, she loves it. I mean, she's in it 100%.
nice. Jonathan, you want to talk about your day a little bit? You jumped on the leaderboard early, man.
I guess I did the same thing as Richie. I found some 45-degree banks right off of Main Lake, and I caught two little ones back to back off a little elbow in the back of a creek. It was kind of like where it, there's like a little hump, like you hardly call it a hump because it was like 2 foot of water, and then just kind of slowed down. But like I was throwing a crankbait, but I had to like literally like slow wind that crankbait on the bottom, like rock, and then sometimes it'd be a leaf, and then sometimes it'd be a 10-incher, and it's like so it's kind of one of those things that just really slow down. But I figured, to be completely honest, with the weather being cold on Friday, I thought they'd be deeper, but I mean I caught all my fish stupid shallow it was a Rapala flat-sided crankbait. I can't remember which one. But super shallow. I couldn't, I threw a spinnerbait in practice, and I heard guys catch them on a spinnerbait during the tournament day. And but the wild thing is the place where I launched at down by the dam, there was probably, I don't know, 15, maybe 20 guys there by the end of the day. And a lot of those guys stayed in that pocket. The guy from, what is his name? From Iowa, he was Frederick. He was in that pocket, but he stayed in that pocket by the ramp all day long. Supposedly he was catching them on a wacky rig. But a lot of guys staying in that pocket. I saw Adam Denningman there later in the day, and I guess he fished one area is what I was told. But it was kind of wild to see that many guys in that area, and a lot of them stayed within that small little creek there and caught fish in there. So it was kind of, and I don't know why it was weird that they were so shallow. To me, it was weird just after the weather and all that. But I guess if the water was up, they probably kind of moved, a little bit deeper than being shallow. And then the water came down and it kind of put them, in that shallow water, maybe. I don't know. But I think probably a lot of guys realized that, if they didn't get to pre-fish, is that water clarity, I think, was huge. I went to some muddy spots, and I know Richie, he went to a ramp that I went to in the past, and it was straight chocolate milk, but the water was almost 60 degrees, so I was kind of hoping that he'd bring back a report like, hey, I caught them in there. They're in there. We just got to find them. But I never heard that.
I had 65 degrees in there, and it's like, they should be there, but they weren't.
Yeah. I got back in a creek that it was all chocolate milk where I launched, and then got so far back, I was in the back of farmers' fields and got back to crystal clear, like basically crystal clear water. And I had water temps at like 64 back there where I could see the bottom, but there wasn't no fish. It was kind of cool getting back there though. But yeah, I'm a champion too. I'm the micro champion. I'm going to sit here and talk about, I'm going to talk about that. That's a big win for me. And I'll tell you personally, it was a big win. And I'll tell you why. I lost a couple fish early. They seemed decent, maybe 14 inches. And it was 2:15 and I still didn't have a fish. And I just knew that I didn't want to end the day with a 0. It kind of took me back to the story with Marty Hughes when I was fishing the Bassmaster Championship on 10 killer, where I didn't have a limit the first day, and the second day I was struggling. And it wasn't until 12:30 that I actually caught one that I somehow made 12 inches. But I told myself, I was like, Trey, you got to catch a fish. You can't skunk at this event. Me and I have a group of, really kind of close friends, and there's a goose going around. It's a goose that I actually found on Palmy floating around in the water. That if anybody skunks and we're all fishing it, they got to take the goose home. And I knew that I didn't want to take the goose home. So I thought to myself, I was in the back of this pocket. I believe it might have been the same one Richie caught that 16 in when he first started fishing. I was in the very back of it, and there was a huge trash mat on the back. Like there's just in the back, it was all blown up. There was sticks and everything in there, and it was a pretty big trash mat. And I said, dude, there's got to be a small bass in there hiding. It's just a matter of getting down in there. So I went over to the bank. I got out of my kayak, grabbed a bigger rock. I got back in my kayak and I threw the rock in the middle of it and just made this big hole in the middle of it. And then I pitched a Nico and I cut the Nico down to like that big. And I just let that Nico sit in there, dude, till something just said tick, tick. And I skied it. I don't know how the little thing didn't come off, but I skied that thing across that trash mat, dude. You would have thought I caught a 10-pound bass because I envisioned it. I just envisioned this little scared little 5-inch, 10-inch bass hiding in the back of this trash mat. And I'm like, I'm going to catch this dude. And I did, man. And it was like a visual thing. It was so cool and it meant so much to me. And then like maybe 5 minutes after that, I caught a little 10-incher, and you would have thought I won the tournament. How I felt going back to the ramp, dude. I even put my rods in rod sleeves, which if I have a tough day, I just throw my rods in my car. I just felt so cool, and it was so awesome finishing that tournament with, I believe I had 17 inches. And it just meant the world to me. And it was awesome. And I would have did it all over again for that one little small learning experience. So.
It's an interesting punching technique you got going on there.
That's funny.
Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Well, after Lake of the Ozarks and after Mark Twain, Tyler, you're sitting in that 1 spot for AOI, and Richie, you're sitting in that 2 spot, and then you guys got Micah coming after you guys. So the heat is on you guys right now. So no pressure or anything like that, but it's got to feel pretty good to sit up there.
I'm glad Tyler's leading it. I led it all last year, and then I choked at the end of the year. So I'll stay in second and third all year this year then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how this is going to go because a lot of these lakes I've never fished. I mean, what's left on the schedule, I fished Palmy 3 times and I fished Table Rock once, and that's it. I got nothing for any of these other lakes. Like I never fished Truman. Yeah, so I mean, obviously I got some good history at Palmy, but I mean, it's not easy to win. It's not easy to stay at the top and be at the top. And I don't know what it is about these Missouri lakes that I just go down there and it just fits my style and I do well. And I don't know how to explain it because I don't feel like I'm fishing any different than I would up here in Nebraska, but just something is just happening that the stars are aligning and things are going well. But I don't know, it's got to end at some point, you would think, but who knows, maybe it'll keep going for a couple more months.
Do you feel like less pressure coming down here and fishing with us versus like lakes that you've been to and pond spots you've been to before up in Nebraska?
I mean, when I first started doing this, like everybody wanted to, you want to win, you want to be super competitive. And then past couple of years, I got to the point was like, this is what I love to do. I love fishing. I love being outdoors. I met some great people down there, and just I like fishing new lakes and new water. So I kind of have the mindset of going in like this is going to cost me X amount of money, and if I come home with nothing, then that's perfectly fine. Like it's just more of an experience thing. And then if you get in the money line or whatever, it's just a bonus at that point. But it's more about just being in the outdoors, being on the water, hanging out with some, friends and people that I met, because everybody, in the club's been really cool. So I just kind of go in with that mindset is like, just go out there and fish, and whatever happens, happens. Like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just try to stay loose and just go fish.
I will say that if Truman stays at a decent level and we're not washed out there, and knowing, spending some time with you, Tyler, and learning a little bit about your style and some things that you do, I feel like Truman is really going to fish to your strengths, and I feel like you could have a really good show there.
Well,
But I got a
you
question
know,
for both you guys, and maybe this is here or not, but you brought this up, and I think both of you guys being seasoned anglers have maybe this is just for the new guys out there that are listening to this. We have a lot of rookies this year. So Tyler, you're talking about finding a spot in practice, a spot that you're pretty kind of confident in going back to. And let's just say that spot, in practice was just lights out. And you have, that the ramps, especially Mark Twain fished really small because of all the water that was available, right? Guys wanted to get into that cleaner water. They kind of wanted to be closer to the dam, or at least, up on that end somewhere. So if you're launching and you found something good in practice, and maybe you have a slower kayak and your kayak isn't super fast or anything like that, what kind of anxieties do you have the night before, or maybe in the morning driving to the ramp? And this is a question for both of you guys, for somebody actually going to that spot and beating you there. How do you have that conversation, and what do you do at that point?
like if we're trying to share a spot or something.
Well, let's just say, yeah, you have this spot in your head, in your mind from practice that you caught him at. Now you're launching 15 guys, 10 guys are at the ramp, and you got these anxiety like, hey, man, this dude's going to beat me to that spot that I found in practice that I'm really confident in. And let's say they do. How do you have that conversation then, or how do you prepare for that mentally?
I mean, if somebody beats me to a spot, I usually try to have like a second or third starting spot in mind, just in case something like that happens, so you don't kind of get spun out right at the beginning.
Good. That's good.
So just keep your options open to know what you can do. I mean, you can't let something like that ruin your morning and get in your head right off the bat. I mean, and then if you have, I mean, every guy, I mean, if you talk to somebody on the water, usually you can figure something out. I mean, I will say I found out in a previous tournament, you got to use your words more direct, I guess. Just be open about what you're trying to ask and what you're trying to talk about. And usually you can come to an agreement and figure it out. It may not be something you like, but I mean, it is what it is. So I don't think there's anything wrong talking to somebody. But
And Richie, that's pretty much your approach too, Richie?
Well, my main approach, because normally I'm the first one at the spot. I've always had the Torpedo 1103. I always stayed away from the front trolling motors and stuff like that, because I've always tried to get the fastest motor I could have and have the fastest kayak. For that reason, but at Mark Twain, if I didn't get my spot, there are so many other places to start on there. But yeah, that's why I have the 1103, and I kind of just like basically my strengths. I guess some people want spot lock, some people like that, but I want to get from spot to spot as fast as possible. I don't know if that's from spending a lot of years fishing out of a boat, running spot to spot, like that. But I like to have the fastest motor, or try to be the fastest. But there's a lot of people now have 1103s, faster kayaks now. So and that's the kind of thing. You try not to just have one spot, just in case. You have I usually have a secondary or third spot that I will start on if someone is in my spot, or if there's too many people in that area. Because I know some lakes I have just one spot that I go to that's good. So, and if someone's in that spot, it's going to kind of ruin your whole day, So I try to just find the fish areas where I can go to 1, 2, maybe 3 spots and be happy starting at, instead of just having that one starting spot.
So that's good stuff, guys. Thank you.
But to that point, though, I mean, you don't need a big motor. I mean, I got an NK300.
No, you don't.
But here's like at Mark Twain here, it took me 40 seconds to get to my starting spot, and I could see the ramp all day. I could see where I launched all day long. My longest run I made was to go use the bathroom. I went back to the ramp to use the bathroom. That was the longest run I made all day long with my motor. I think I used 8% of my battery, and that was it. I mean, so you don't, I mean, if you find something, I mean, you can find something and you don't need the big motors or any of the fancy stuff. Like anybody could have done what I did. I mean, obviously with the wind, because the majority of my fish came on the wind blown bank, so the pedal drive with the 360 helped for boat positioning. But I mean, you don't have to make long runs to find fish, and that's one thing I've learned, because sometimes you could waste a lot of time going and looking, and sometimes if you stick it out and wait in an area long enough, the fish will reload and they'll come back and you'll start catching them again.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, you said it well earlier. Sometimes it's just being in the right place at the right time kind of deal. I've been on spots that I was fishing that I was like, somebody's coming my direction and they're kind of fishing what I wanted to fish eventually. And then, well, I say heck with it and just go somewhere else. And sometimes that works out for me. Sometimes it doesn't. But it's just one of those things you kind of just, communicate with anglers where you're going, where you're at and all that. And then, kind of go from there. But yeah, again, it's, kind of right spot, right time kind of stuff. Kind of how that plays out.
I mean, and it's not a bad thing to fish behind somebody. I fish behind kayaks, behind bass boats. I mean, your approach may be something different than them, and that may trigger a bite too. So it's not always a bad thing to have other, it can still work out if you have other people around you.
Still pulling ticks off me, dude. Crazy.
All right. Well, Richie, Tyler, appreciate you guys coming on here. Look forward to seeing you guys. Tyler, did you make the Tanny 20?
No, I didn't fish enough events last year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
I might have to keep fishing a few more now after where these AOIs are sitting, because I mean, I wasn't didn't know if I was going to fish the whole season or where I was going to go, but I mean, after that start, I kind of got to make a run now.
So yeah, I also wanted to say big shout out. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Big shout out to Vitality Sport and Spine for sponsoring this. The pizzas, Dr. Noah Witten with Vitality Sport and Spine. If you guys are in the St. Louis area and looking for a chiropractor, but definitely hit him up. He's going to give you the best deal that you're ever going to get with a chiropractor. Also, for everyone that donated baits to, I believe it's the Eureka fishing team is really cool. And I'm seriously pulling numerous ticks off of me. This sucks. So yeah, Eureka Springs. Yeah. So
I lost audio there.
are you back now?
Yeah.
I believe me and you are the only ones on here.
Is Jonathan coming back?
There he is.
Nope. I'm back. I'm having issues with my camera, but I'm back. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, just can't see you.
Yeah, you're not missing much. Let me switch this over real quick.
Trey doesn't look like he can hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear him. I can hear you. Here we go again. Who done it?
Yeah.
Who's on first?
I can hear John. I can hear both of you guys.
Can you just sign language me what John is saying so I don't look like a retard?
Yeah.
Trey, can you hear me now? No, Trey can't hear me.
I can hear you still.
I'm just gonna sit here and nod because I'm sure you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, yeah, that's right. You guys can say some pretty dumb stuff, and I'm gonna nod and say yes. So please don't say nothing stupid.
Oh gosh. Oh man, technology.
Well, I can jump off here and let you guys wrap up. Maybe if I jump off, you guys can hear each other.
Maybe.
If we can, it's gonna be really bad. He's gonna do something real bad to me. I know he is.
I'm not. Trey, thanks
for having me, guys.
Man, it's a pleasure. I'll see you back on that. I'll see you back on a leaderboard, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see you, Doug. See you guys down at Truman.
Hey, Jonathan, that was a great show, man.
Trey, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah. Can you really?
For sure.
You're just reading my lips.
I know.
This is awkward. Awkward.
I did, yeah. I'm gonna win the next one. Yes, you're right. I know I'm a great fisherman.
Can you hear me now? No, still can't hear me.
And I'm not answering any more questions.
Can you hear me now? It's been real. We'll get out of here. See you guys.